I want to take a quick look today at a replacement underwater casing for the GoPro. This isn't the latest GoPro. I don't own the latest GoPro. I only own up to the Hero 3 Plus. So, you know, the replacement that I've bought is obviously one to fit that, but the overall idea of this video is the same and will be the same for whichever GoPro. So this is the original one that came in the box, and this, I was going to say I broke, but it broke, and this just snapped. You know, it's quite a firm pressure that you put on this when you clamp it shut, and this bit of plastic just shattered and has either become brittle or just flawed or whatever, I don't know, but it snapped, and so I had to get a new one. So this is the new one that I've got, and I just want to compare the two, because this one is $8.99. Let me just move the actual GoPro itself out of the way, and we can zoom in a little bit onto these. Let's get the focus right on the camera. This one, about $8.99, a replacement from GoPro themselves, probably more in the region of £40, so over 4 times the price. Now, what is the difference between them? Well, it's difficult to say, really, but that's what I want to do today. Firstly, it looks like on this one I cannot take off this back piece here. So this is, on this one, I can take this off. At least I think I can. Yeah, on this I can take it off. Yeah, I can detach. Can I detach it on here as well? Maybe I can. Can I detach this piece and put the original? Ah, yes, I can. Okay. No, so that's not a bad thing. So that comes off, so I can replace that with the original open one. They're always difficult to get on these things. There must be a knack to this, which I do not have. I clearly don't use these enough. Anyway, I'm going to leave that off for now. Probably actually help. But as far as build quality is concerned, and in fact, I'm going to take this one off as well. Let's put those to one side. As far as build quality is concerned, they're actually really, really similar. The GoPro one has a slightly thinned bit of plastic there. You can just about see that for where the display is. It's slightly thinner than the rest. This doesn't have that in the molding at all. It's just not part of it. The buttons themselves, I'm going to get a bit of a close-up on these if I can for you. So the buttons themselves here on the original are nicely finished, and they have a really nice sort of smooth action to the buttons there. On the replacement, we have much less, you know, much simpler finish, much less kind of refined, and a much more kind of clunky. It just doesn't feel as solid. I'm assuming it's waterproof because that's exactly what it has to be, but it doesn't feel very solid. But you know, I've put the GoPro in and it works fine, so as long as they're waterproof it seems perfectly okay. The little, I don't know what you even call these things, the things that kind of hold these in place. On the replacement, if I hold that in, they kind of wobble around a bit. You can't really see that very clearly on the camera, but they wobble around. On the original here, they're much nicer, much more nicely kind of finished off, and they're tight. So there's no wobbling around there of that piece of metal that retains the button in place. On the original, we've got these type of screws. What do you call this? Star screws on to mount this front piece in place. On the replacement, just standard crosshead screws. But again, same kind of 4 mounting points. Really, really. Oh, zoom out again. Really, really similar. I was looking at it originally when I first picked it up. I thought that these two pieces were quite different. I thought that the metal on here was much, much thinner on the replacement. But if you look at the two, there's not much really. There might be a tiny bit in it. It might be a marginally thinner on here. This piece of plastic feels pretty much the same. It's wobbles. Let's have a look. Sort of that wobbles around quite a bit, but let's see. Yeah, a tighter fit, much more kind of snug. Just really, I think it comes down to sort of margins on mouldings and things like that. They're just not quite as tight on this, so you've got a lot more play in the parts here. That rattles around, that less so. But again, does it really matter? Probably not. Same thing on the buttons on the side. We've got our difference in the finish on the buttons on the side. I can't focus that close. There we go. So you can see the difference between the two. This has got a bit of sand and dirt in it, but this one is just not as nicely finished. On the bottom, absolutely identical. Really is nothing in it between the two. I mean, well, I suppose a tiny difference in shape there, but not really anything to worry about. So I guess the question is, I actually on the front there, on the housings themselves, let me zoom out again. On the housings themselves, you've got this kind of little gold rim. You can see on the one on the left-hand side here. You've got the gold rim around the lens there. I actually quite like that versus the original, which didn't have that at all. At least I don't think it has. No, it kind of looks like it has on the shot there. I noticed that, but it hasn't. Trust me. You got those. Yeah, so you've got this nice kind of gold finish, which it looks okay. But in reality, from what I can see, these are very, very close and very little in it. I don't know about overall. So on here, it's suspended in the middle. On here, it's suspended by two pads either side. Again, not sure what difference that's going to make. But let's just fit the GoPro into the new one. And you can see that it fits in there no problem. I mean, I could use the old one of these on here, but I'm going to try and get this back on now. Why doesn't this go on? Yeah, there we go. Right. So like pretty tight fit, which you'd expect for a waterproof housing. Clips shut. Yeah, so that's what you're getting. This is what you're getting with an $8.99 replacement underwater housing. It really does the job perfectly all right. I do like to stick to original accessories where I can, but in this case, they're just a pain to get hold of. The original ones online, the only ones you can really find are these lower priced ones. So I'll put the link to the product, this particular product, in the description below. This is only for the Hero 3 Plus and 4, I think. It doesn't fit the Hero 3, not sure what they changed. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. It seems like it's going to do the job nicely. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Pretty specific video this. You know, it's only going to matter if you're really after one of these replacements and if you're really bothered about the differences between them. But there you go. They are the differences between the aftermarket, third-party, cheap underwater casing and the original GoPro casing.